Week 6 waiver wire. Week 6 waiver wire. Stephon Diggs is looking good. He looks healthy. Took him 4 weeks. This is week 5. Took him 5 weeks to get to where he's at, and he looks fantastic. He looks trusted by Drake May. Drake May, of course, looks good. Vrabel's a whole nother story, and this win just enables him, which is unfortunate because, you know, you definitely would have won without the struggles had you just played Hendy all game. Had the team played Hendy all game, they probably would have been up by who knows how much. It wouldn't have even come down to that. That's the problem is people look at this, they're like, well, they won, Smitty. How bad could Vrabel be? How dumb does he look now? The guy continues to put the fumblers out on the field. You know how many fumbles Trey Henderson had in college in 4 college seasons? 0. 0 fumbles for Trey Henderson in 4 college seasons. And yet Vrabel throws out Gibson. He fumbles. Then Gibson goes down. Prayers up to Gibson. After the fumble happened for Ramondre, they put Gibson out there. Gibson fumbles. Like it's just, you can't make this up. You can't make it up. Then when Gibson goes down with the injury, again, prayers up to Gibson. What is it? Next man up. Stevenson's next man up. Trey's fumbled 0 times in 4 college seasons. What are we doing? And it's just enabled by the win. They look great. The New England Patriots look great. Aside from that, May looks fantastic. Diggs looks phenomenal. Surprisingly, Diggs is on a lot of people's waiver wire. JCM surprisingly on a lot of people's waiver wire. And if Diggs and JCM are gone, then we're just going to trickle through this. Now, I haven't ordered this entirely in order yet, so we're going to spitball it together. The Fantasy Football Show Waiver Wire Edition, week number 6 begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
That was asinine to watch. That was just anybody that knows anything about ball is watching that game and just saying it doesn't matter. Like, you could come in and say they won. If a New England Patriot fan meanders on in here and starts talking Patriots football, it's still a different realm and area than we're talking right now. But this was just brutal to watch this coach continue to use a player that continues to fumble the ball and just put this team in the position that they were in at the end. It's just asinine. As far as the waiver wire, week number 6, let me change the graphic on the side. I still have it saying week 5. This will be week number 6 waiver wire, early waiver wire. And know that I tweak this throughout the week. And I show it pretty much every day. So unlike other shows, you're going to get one waiver wire show. This will be, we're literally waiver wire every single day of the week. I feel like if anybody sees anybody that should be on here high on the list, speak up and put a green check mark emoji next to the player's name. And I'll throw it up here if I see it. But I mean, JCM got cut in a lot of leagues last week. That's why he's on this list. It's kind of shocking he's available in as many leagues as he's available in. But JCM, you need to check your waiver wire. Let me see if I can pull up the percentages here. So the percentage of availability on JCM, which again, it's shocking. It may not seem like he'd be available, but Krosky Merritt is available on Sleeper at least. He's available in... Let me see if I can pull this up real quickly. It looks like 74% of leagues he's rostered, 25% he's available, which is pretty shocking. So 25%. My cutoff for this is usually about 20%, 25 to 20%. It just kind of depends on if I think it's an impacting enough thing to talk about, or if we're trending in a way where I have, like, let's say a couple wide receivers I feel like are needed to be talked about, and I have those players listed and they're 18%, then I will give the running backs that kind of love as well, just to make sure it's consistent. So Diggs is available in 15-ish% of leagues. And so if we're going to talk 15% with Diggs, we probably need to talk about 15% with other RBs. So we might encounter another player that we need to throw on the RB board. But 25% for JCM is crazy. JCM had 140 plus yards, 100 and 11, I believe, on the ground, 2 touchdowns, looked like a monster. And just can't wait for, let me see here real quick. Hold on one second. Can't wait for the coming week and just the hype surrounding JCM, because everyone was giving up on him. He got cut to the tune of he's available in 25% of leagues. Travis, how many percentage of leagues is he available in Yahoo? I see 25 on Sleeper.
He's available in 23% of Yahoo.
Okay. I mean, that's a big amount. Anybody who doesn't want us talking about 20 to 25% availability is wild, because that's 25% of everybody watching. That's a big chunk of people. Like, that's massive. And if you don't see him available, then just move on down to the next player. It's fine. Who else needs to be on this list at running back that I don't have high enough, or I'm missing altogether, or I should take off? I have JCM. I have Tootin. Rashad White might be used for another 2 weeks, maybe more, depending on the Bucky news. We should have more Bucky news tomorrow, although I don't know if we'll have a specific time frame, but we might have like a idea of if Bucky's looking at 2 or 3 weeks, or if it's just 2 weeks with the potential shoulder injury now. Brashard Smith will know more tomorrow where he should be slotted. Gainwell is coming off the bye week, but a very exciting play. You could almost put Jaden Blue down below like even Carter for right now, because Stevenson looked fantastic. And so Gainwell might move up to like right where Rashad White is. Stevenson, he had 2 touchdowns, but he didn't have a lot of yards, and he keeps putting the ball on the ground. So if he puts the ball on the ground again in the middle of a game, who knows? Maybe he gets promoted. Maybe he gets promoted to quarterback. I don't know. But you got to think there's still a lot of risk that if you start Stevenson, you might not finish the game with him. I don't know. So rank him wherever you want. I have a little bit bias against Stevenson right now anyway, so I'm not ranking him any higher than this. But if you feel like you should, grab him and he could punch in a touchdown and a fumble for you, then by all means grab him. I still think for those of you ready to give up on Trey Henderson, again, the speech that you don't want to hear, the speech that you think is totally garbage, the speech that you're not ready to listen to, maybe you're just so upset right now you can't hear it, and I get it. But again, Gibbs, we were this frustrated with Gibbs through 6 weeks of football. You have to remember that. Bucky did not touch fantasy football lineups because he wasn't used enough until week 10 of the 2024 season. So if you want to run away from Hendy right now, that's fine. I'm not gonna hold your hand and pry you back and say, please don't go, please don't go. You can do whatever you want. I know it's frustrating right now. I feel the exact same way, but I'm not running. Just like people ran from Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Probably even the better example is 4 weeks people were frustrated and gave up on him to the tune of Krosky-Merritt getting cut in nearly 20 to 25% of leagues. He might have been out there in 5 of those percent, but let's say he got cut in 20% of leagues last week to give that a 25 total, 23 in Yahoo. That's because people gave up. They were sick and tired of waiting, and they waited 4 weeks. I know you're sick and tired of waiting on Hendy, but it is what it is. At some point, he probably gets in there. They spent the draft capital on it. It doesn't make sense the way it's going, the speed it's going at. I get it, but you send him to the bench versus sending him to the wire. Just plain and simple. So you cut Hendy, I'll pick him up. That's fine. I'm not going to convince anybody. I've already said it enough, and if Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt isn't evidence of that waiting pays off, then I don't know what to tell you. As far as Dowdle is concerned, I think Dowdle is available in... Wow, what is the availability of Dowdle?
29% of Sleeper and 42% of Yahoo.
Okay, so there goes Dowdle. Now, Dowdle probably ahead of Tootin. I would say below JCM just because you have Chuba. Even though we want to very easily say Chuba's job is gone now, I would be very cautious to be. I mean, look, and I'm not saying I'm giving up on Woody Marks either, because again, it's a patient game with these rookies. Sometimes a very brutal game of patience. But Dowdle, you know, there is a world where Dowdle keeps the job or gets half of it. You know, I think it would be a little bit crazy. So I'm going to put Tootin below Dowdle is what I'm trying to say, because Tootin's a rookie. We're waiting on Tootin. Gainwell, I don't know that I trust that situation any more than I trust Rachaad White. Short-term situation and the balance of weighing out the short-term versus maybe the long-term of Gainwell. You've got Carter, who's a short-term, but a very potentially decent 4-6 week short-term player. JCM's the starter, not moving Dowdle ahead of JCM, but Dowdle probably right here at 2, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
I guess Uncle Rico probably does go right there. Does anybody feel like Rico should be... I'm not going to move him because you say so. I'm just curious if the chat thinks that Dowdle should be number 1 over JCM. And you probably own Dowdle in a league if you say that, but... which I don't mind, you saying. I'm just curious if anybody thinks Dowdle should be 1 or 2 on the running back waiver wire board if JCM was available. But the good news is, if you're in a league where JCM's not available, you said what was Dowdle's percentage, Travis? 20 or how much available?
He's available in 29 of sleeper and 42 of Yahoo.
Okay, so 29 to 42% available is Rico. So that's definitely in most people's situations the top available player. So 29 to 40% available. So there we go. That's a really good addition. I mean, he had 200 yards and a touchdown on the ground. He looked phenomenal. He looked like he got hurt, but it ended up being cramping. So that's good news. But all right, so Travis, who's missing, and anybody in the chat, who's missing from the running back column for number 6? Who's missing?
Harvey. I know he didn't have a big week, but I don't know if you want him on there still or not.
Oh, of course. Is he cut? Like in that many leagues?
He's available in 17% of, about 15% of all leagues. So he's a borderline guy, but with his skill set.
17 available. Okay, so
17%.
All right, I guess because we're going to do Diggs in a minute, and Diggs is not necessarily available in most leagues, but it's worth enough talking about it. So Harvey, I'm going to put Harvey. I mean, if we're being honest about the situation, I mean, this is probably where you'd slot him right now because Brashard Smith hasn't played yet. It's possible Brashard has a really, strong game. And if he does, then he would rise above. You could even put Carter and Harvey neck and neck because you could even put Carter above Harvey because he's useful right now and you might need that. So you just kind of got to look at this from your perspective. Are you going to ever use Carter? If Carter's a stash, if the running back play you're making is a stash, then you grab Harvey. If you need points now and you're 1 and 4, then you probably need to go Carter. So Harvey would be more of a stash player. Who else is missing? Put a check mark next to any player that's missing in the
Woody
chat.
Marks, if you want to keep him noted.
What's his availability?
He's available in 18% of sleeper and 23% of Yahoo.
Okay. And anybody wants to give up on Woody Marks, be my guest. Be my guest. I am not going to lose sleep over trying to convince you that Woody Marks has upside. Let me see if I can move her.
And just, as we get closer to I know it's going to be probably 6 weeks, but keep an eye on Trey Benson. He'll come back. He's available in 30 to 40% of leagues. And people cut him like crazy.
Well, then we probably need to put him on the list now.
Yeah, because you can put him in an IR spot.
So Woody Marks will probably I'd probably say Tootin and Woody Marks are pretty close for me because at this point you got to look at Woody Marks as a stash. just because we can't explain why his coach said he wants to feed him more than he did last week and then he didn't. Which is just, it's asinine what we're dealing with. These coaches are unbelievable. I've never seen anything like this in 20 years of doing this professionally, where across the entire league, we have coaches just refusing to use the more talented players. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, they don't have pass protection, or they don't. That's not the case in more than half of these. And more than half, like, if anything, you want to argue that in just the mere case of Ramondre. Ramondre is doing nothing that Hendy can't do. Hendy could probably do everything he can do better. He can pass protect better. He doesn't fumble the ball, and that's the most important thing. And so there's no argument against Stevenson, Hendy. Hendy, Stevenson, there's not a single argument you can make. This is an incompetence problem in New England. Even though, and this is the same thing for like Shanahan in San Francisco, like, just because they can win games doesn't mean there's an incompetence involved. Like, you got to ask yourself, like, if Shanahan wasn't incompetent with personnel decisions and contract decisions in the offseason and how he handles stuff, the Niners they'd have 2 Super Bowls. Like, that's the problem. He's so good at being an offensive mind, Shanahan, that he keeps himself as a head coach relevant because he's so good at that part of the head coaching job. It does encompass some of the things that he does well. So it overshadows all the negatives. Vrabel, I don't care if they won that game or not. They should have won by a lot more. They shouldn't have struggled that entire end of the game, because if they didn't give up the ball and Hendy was punching it in the end zone instead of kicking a field goal like at the half, you'd be up by even more. So it enables them. It's frustrating to watch something be successful on the football field from an NFL perspective when it enables a horrible decision or usage of a player. Just enabling the usage of Ramondre. He scores twice. What do you have, 8 yards and 2 touchdowns, or 10 yards, or whatever he had? Ramondre had 2 touchdowns. What was his yardage total at the end of the day? Let me pull it up. It was
14 yards.
14 yards, 2.0 yards per carry. Fumbles the ball again, 2 touchdowns. It's not like he was efficient. He, in that wide open rushing touchdown in the end, it's just frustrating to watch a coach get enabled. Vidal, that's a good one, because Hampton is injured right now.
Yeah, Vidal and Haskins, the 2 of them.
Yeah.
And, I was going to ask about Isaiah Davis, just because he's the backup to Breece Hall now.
Yeah.
Breece Hall left for a little bit.
Yeah, Davis would be a good one to add. Let's move DeMarcado, who, God, I mean, honestly, if DeMarcado did not fumble that ball into the end zone purposefully, you could say, I wonder what we'd be saying about him, because he'd have 90 yards and a touchdown. But now he's sold the game. They have no trust in him at all. So he's done. We'll put him way down here. Chubb, we probably have to move up, although I don't know I don't know how long that's going to last, or what it all means, to be honest with you. It's crazy to me, the amount of coach speak we heard on Woods, and then the usage was just asinine. Blue.
I wonder if it had a little bit to do with, they were blowing him out and just left Chubb in there, type of thing. They didn't have to throw from behind, because that helps Woody Marks a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, so we'll put Chubb here. We'll put Vidal.
Kendrick Miller is just a guy to watch, because he's now up to 40% of the rushing attempts in this game, and he's gone up every game. So I don't know if they're planning to move. If they end up trading Kamara or something like that, it becomes interesting. But just a name to watch. I know you have him on there. So.
Yeah. If Kamara gets traded, he'll vault up higher than he is right now. So we'll put Haskins and then a Benson. So if once I put Benson on here, are we? Is everything on here, guys, that should be on here in the chat?
So.
Put a question mark, or I'm sorry, a green check mark emoji, and the name you feel needs to be added. If you don't put the green check mark emoji, we're not looking for it, because I'm only reading those questions. for the ads. Okay, so Haskins. So I think that's good. So I guess where I put Benson would be, man, I suppose would you put him, like, this is going to depend on your need. Like, do you pick up Benson over Carter if you're not ever going to use the player? That's going to be a dilemma you're going to have to weather through yourself, I suppose.
Yeah, because will Benson, if Carter even does what he did today, just 18 for 51, touchdown, catch a few balls, will that mean, and DeMarcado obviously has a role, will that just mean Benson coming back just becomes a three-headed monster and a mess? I don't know. So we're going to have to let it play out over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I think that would still, for me, even though people want to give up on Harvey, and I understand why, I'm not going to hold people's hand from wanting to run away from a player, this early on. Like I said, I have to say it over and over that you have, Gibbs is rookie year. Literally, people were cutting him in weeks 4, 5, 6, and he didn't do a single thing until week 7. So people can do what they want. Benson, what did I just do? Who did I just take away? Carter. Dang it! I got to be careful. All right. So let me put Harvey here. Harvey and Carter. It's dependent on if you need the player now, and then I'll put Carter and Benson kind of neck and neck, and that of course I guess depends on what you need now as well.
Tyjae Spears isn't a bad one either, because Pollard's doing all right, but
yeah,
Spears is back now and he'll get some work.
All right, so I'm gonna make this to Benson, and then we'll call the running backs a day. Okay, as for the wide receivers, we got Diggs. What was it? 13% you said?
Yeah, Diggs 16% on Sleeper, 13% on Yahoo.
So you 13 to 16? Okay.
Yeah.
So Diggs 13 to 16% available, which again, I normally don't have that on here, but it's such an impacting player right now. The way he looked very different today than he's ever looked. I know he was in revenge tour mode for sure. Like he was possessed out there, wanting to prove to the Buffalo Bills that
good last week too, though. 100 yards last week.
Yeah, but just looked possessed out there today. And Drake May just trusted him more than I've seen in a while. So I would say Diggs, just because of that, we got to talk about that. And I think, 13 to 16% is enough people watching that. Keep in mind, guys, that even hearing the conversation might have you, find out what trade value we might have for him or whatever. So if we're talking about a player that's not available in your league, it still gives you insight as to what might be valuable and what might not be. Like if you could get Diggs in a trade. Like earlier, before the game started, the guy said he was going to trade. Who was it for Diggs? He needed a wide receiver. And he was going to trade, I want to say it was like Hunter Henry or a player like that. I forget what it was for Diggs. No, it was a better player than that. I forget who it was. But it was a toss-up. It was like, you know what? To see how he does. And now all of a sudden it was Debo. I don't think it was Debo. That doesn't sound right. Maybe it was. But I certainly wouldn't trade Debo myself for Diggs. But I think Diggs is climbing up, closer to Debo than we ever, imagined he would coming out of weeks 1, 2, and 3 when it's like Diggs didn't look the part. But these ACL recoveries take a while. He was so far ahead of where he should have been that you couldn't have expected him to do this right now in week 1, in week 2, in week 3. And then now he's starting to get hot. How much fab to drop on Rico? You could essentially call Rico a full load. Anybody that can help you win at this stage, walking into week number 6, you could consider a full load drop. I think there's a lot of potential value in a lot of these guys. If you're sitting here and let's say Diggs is available, that's worth a full load drop. Bourne, depending on Purdy's situation, now the Niners would be smart to make sure that Purdy sits a little while before they bring it. Let's get to Purdy and Bourne in a second. Just real quickly, just to recap on Diggs. Make sure you don't leave him out there. He is worth a full load drop. And if you're doing deals and somebody's looking to sell high, and some people like to sell high before the player, ends up falling flat. So I'm fine with anybody going and acquiring him in some sort of package deal. Just run it by the chat first, drop a super chat, whatever, and we'll try and figure out what you should do if there's a Diggs related deal. As for Kendrick Bourne, what's the availability of Kendrick Bourne, Travis?
85% in sleeper and 96% in
availability?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bourne is available pretty much everywhere. This is a good ad right now. Could be short term. Keep in mind there's still a bunch of wide receivers coming back. Bourne could earn a role, but he could also fall to the wayside real quickly. So this is more of a temporary move. But I would say that that's an important piece right now, potentially. Shaheed had a big game. Now he does this and it either gets hurt or he drops off. But he's still a great ad right now. Shakir, Horton, Godwin, Dobbs. I mean, it's kind of hard to say who's the best option here. Who do I have listed or don't have listed at all that should be raised up like very, very high? I don't even know if we have anybody that seems out of place, really, that exploded or something like that.
So just to note, Addison is still only 85% owned in sleeper. He's 88 in Yahoo, but 12 to 15% for a guy like Addison. Just to note him. Not even saying you have to put him on. But.
Okay. Well, if we did place him here, I would say him and Diggs are pretty close. It's crazy, but I would have said before this game Addison was ahead of him by a lot, but I might say right now they're pretty dead even. I would almost say like Diggs could have even more value. Hard to say because you're hitching your wagon to Wentz and McCarthy and that Minnesota offense, which is up and down and concerning, and then there's the talk about Addison being benched for the first half, or like what was going on there. So I'd say Diggs almost has a little bit more appeal at this stage. So let me even move all these guys down slightly to move Addison. But Addison should be grabbed. I mean, no doubt about it. If he's available, he's a fantastic go-get player. A.O. Manor, I wouldn't give up on A.O. Manor. He's a rookie, and he's got a rookie quarterback, so you got double the inconsistency problems that you'd have normally with another player. But not saying he's trustworthy, but he's somebody that I think in leagues where you're hit with injuries, he's a good player to roster. Chad, anybody else? Bond is on the list.
Ridley?
I don't have Ridley on the list.
He's available in 21 to 29% of leagues.
Okay.
He had a good day.
Yeah, maybe we'll put. Let me see if I can move him in here somewhere. Let's go. What do you end up finishing with? What was his line?
I got it right here.
I'll probably try and
ended up with 5 receptions, 10 targets, 131 yards.
Wow, that was kind of quiet. He kind of did that quietly.
Yeah.
So Shakir, I mean, I guess I maybe put him. He's so inconsistent though. Damn it, man. It's tough. Like, I guess you put him over Wandell for right now. What Wandell didn't have? What did he end up finishing with?
He had 5 for 30 on 7 targets.
I mean, he's okay, but I guess we'll put really above Wandell, maybe. I mean, this is all subjective. There's arguments to make that some of these guys have, they're having like not 1 week wonder type games, but Ridley could just crash again. because he's been missing for
Back
a
in
while.
the Cowboys, Ryan Flournoy. I don't know if you had him on there. He's obviously 0% everywhere. He had 6 for 114.
Yeah, he's
See that again? Probably not. But
yeah. Keon Coleman scored. Don't know if we like move him up quite a bit or not. I don't know. Josh Allen did trust him on that deep pass too. He does kind of look for him. I don't know, but it's so hard to trust a Josh Allen wide receiver. They're so rotational. Like if we were to put that here, I guess Tesla scored, but he's inconsistent. I don't know. I think this is pretty good to leave it this way, but the important players I feel like are at the top. I think Godwin becomes progressively better. Horton's really solid. Ridley, Wandell, Shakir, Burden, Tucker. Burden will be bye-week free. That's, good. Mooney will be bye-week free if he's healthy. So there's some advantages there. Gainwell will be bye-week free. That's nice. So, okay, as for quarterbacks,
quite a few that had good weeks. It's a matter of if you want to put them on a list or not, I guess.
well, who am I missing that I have? And then I guess we'll...
Let's see. Stroud. No, I think you're good. Tua had a good week, but are we buying into that?
So
I think you're probably good.
my ranking would be, I still think Stafford with all the weapons is a pretty darn good quarterback to pick up and play. You're guaranteed so much opportunity that I think it's just the best. I put Cokers. I'm putting Coker down at the bottom. Auto-corrected to Cokers. So Stafford at the top. I would say, look, Penix Jr., Love, and Daniel Jones, they're all very arguable. That's subjective too.
Yeah.
I think the only one for me that goes above is the Stafford call. Penix, Daniel Jones, Love, Mac Jones, Stroud, Bryce Young, Darnold. You can move up, I suppose. I mean, he looked good. You can put him right here. I suppose you could put him there. Somewhere around there. Dart looked fantastic the first quarter. And then he just kind of vanished. It was wild. He had two quick touchdown strikes. It looked like Dart was going to be a fantastic play. And then he just kind of unraveled. Caleb, you could have Caleb ahead of Dart if you wanted. I'm not opposed to that. I personally, think Caleb will have some good games and have a lot of bad games too. But, he's always capable of garbage time in the third and fourth quarter. It's just the way that offense is going to operate. So I don't mind you moving up Caleb, Wentz, Browning. Yeah, I think this is probably pretty legit. Taysom Hill's not a quarterback in almost any format. So when we get to the tight ends, we'll talk about Taysom Hill. As for tight ends, I still think Hunter Henry deserves to be near the top, but who needs to be the top guy? Waller?
Probably.
I mean, he looks really, really good. I'm surprised at how good he looks. He doesn't just look like he's out there like Kelsey, just like a big-bodied player running around in circles. He's like, making these long, almost like diesel truck U-turns, like real slowly. He's out there looking pretty good. Goddard is obviously still getting touchdown tosses and looks near the end zone. Pitts is bye-week free. That's really, really nice. If you need to just roll with one tight end moving forward, that could be a determining factor. Still love Fannin, who scored a touchdown. Not as much usage as Njoku, but relevant with that score. Still very involved. And a rookie, he'll get better. You got Ertz. What did Ertz finish with? And what did Strange finish with? If you could look up those two, that would be great.
Yeah.
Jones. I don't know. I don't know that I'm... Arroyo, watch Arroyo. I think he really could come on strong later on. I like Arroyo a lot.
Ertz had 1 target, 0 points.
Yeah, so he still remains down there a ways, I suppose.
And Strange plays tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Tongas from the Niners, as long as Kittle's out, he should move up. Because he's had back-to-back
maybe for
very
now.
good games.
Theo Johnson.
7 for 41.
Yeah, Theo Johnson. All right, we got Taylor.
Yep. Oh, and Njoku now, he's 25 to 30% available. He just had a big game with Gabriel. So.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll create some space here. I think I still would rather have Fannin long term, but I could understand someone wanting Njoku short term. I just think Fannin as a rookie is going to get better. I could be wrong on that. That's preference. If anybody likes Njoku more than Fannin for the rest of the year, it's totally fine. It's a total preference call. And then Taysom Hill. Until Taysom Hill shows something, I think it's fair to not put him like higher than Fannin or those guys in Njoku probably. So I think I could fit Taysom Hill down lower. Let me get Njoku added. But I think this waiver list is looking pretty good. Any tight ends I'm missing? Evan Ingram, that's a good one. Evan Ingram, I'm sure he's available in a lot of leagues. He did look good. He scored on that touchdown strike, and he's number 1. And I remember when I saw him, I'm like, who is that? That guy looks fantastic. Like, it's Njoku. I'm sorry, it's Evan Ingram. He's back.
And Barner had a big game. AJ Barner. I don't know what will come of it.
Yeah.
7 for 53 with 2 touchdowns.
Okay, so we'll go Theo Johnson. We'll move Likely down. We'll move Gadsden down. Tunja's down. So we've got Theo Johnson. So what do we say? We were adding who? There's two people that I'm missing now.
Barner and Evan Ingram.
Ingram, yeah. And was there someone else? I feel like there's another.
AJ Barner.
Taysom Hill. Hold on. Let me get them all on here. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Evan Ingram, Taysom Hill. Hold on. I'm gonna forget him. My screen's really slow right now because I have so many names on here. I might figure out a different way to do this. Only problem is this lets me reflect on it all week long, so I like this board, but all right, hold on a second. So Taysom Hill, all right, who are they again? It was Taysom Hill.
Yeah, Evan Ingram.
Okay.
And AJ Barner had back-to-back good games with a touchdown.
All right. What do you guys think AJ Barner should be? Below, next to Theo Johnson, above, below Taylor?
Yeah. I'd say right around there.
I'm not color coordinating all of these because I'm trying to just get it on there. Warner. All right, I think that's it. So this is the waiver wire board for week number 6. I'll add to it as the week goes on. There probably is somebody that's missing. What's Stafford's availability? I think he's still available in enough leagues, bro. This guy,
he's available
and remove Stafford.
in 37 to 39% of leagues.
Yeah, life lights. I don't know, bro. You're wrong on that. If we're gonna take him off, we gotta take out more people than him. All right, so Barner. Okay, I think that's it. So if I had to say, JCM, Dowdle, Diggs, Addison, Stafford, Waller, Hunter, Goddard, Pitts, Penix, Love, Tootin, Marks, Harvey, Rashard Smith, Rashad White, Gainwell. Those are kind of the top dogs, I guess. All right.
So someone mentioned Cade Otton. I mean, he had 4 for 81. Again, I don't know if that'll last. But.
Yeah. I'll put him on here, but I don't know how high I'm going to move him up. Because he's been on here before, and then we stopped talking about him. All right, I think we're good. Let me move this over here. And it was just a mixed bag week. I mean, the morning games were really crappy overall. And then the afternoon games were fire for the most part, with JCM and JSN and Egbuka going to the moon. Buka to the moon, man. He looks so fantastic. Really wish that Scott Hansen, when he came on, he had accepted, because I remember telling him, I'm like, now you can accept one of my other predictions. It's Boulder. I got one that's Boulder that you could come back on the show if I'm right. And he didn't change it out. But when I told him the Egbuka prediction, he was more shocked than he was with the. So I again disappointed in the one that got selected. But I do think that the one that got selected was that the Commanders would make it to the Super Bowl, and that Bill would be the starting running back. And that's still, Washington is a good team still. They're trying to get their feet under them again with JD5 back. They're still a good team. Are they capable of going to the Super Bowl? I still think so. I just think they've got a lot of stuff they got to fix, for sure. But that's okay. They look good. I mean, when everything's functioning well, they look good. Debo looks fantastic. Remember, McLaurin's not even there right now. So if McLaurin does bounce back and get on the field and plays well, this could be a different JD5 too. And if they keep using JCM properly, their running game's a lot more dangerous. And then the defense back, the defense has to account for that. And then you have just like a whole different situation defensively.
So real quick, I'll jump and let you do the super chat.
Yeah.
One player in NFL history through their first 5 games has had 25 plus receptions, 400 plus receiving yards, and 5 plus receiving touchdowns in their first 5 games. One player ever.
Ever. Buka. I mean,
Buka.
What is he wide receiver in most formats?
I don't know if they've updated it yet. They usually are pretty good updating it. They have him listed at 9 in the Marchman League. So,
but that can't be.
Sense.
That can't be with the game, is it?
It might be, because he had the weeks 2 and 3. He was wide receiver 32 and 25. So
I got him as 8 here. How many yards does he have? Because it says receiving yards 282. He's got more than that. So yeah, that's not including the game. This is 282 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, that was before today.
So my guess is that he goes to wide receiver 4.
Right, yeah. If it's not including
3 or 4.
Monster day.
Caddison says he's wide receiver 3 in my format that's updated. Buka is 3 in Skynet's. 6 in Rubbish is 3, 3, 3. Yeah, I'd say Buka's wide receiver right now. Wide receiver 3 to 4. That's crazy.
Top 5.
Buka season. Look, we may not get everything right, but we're getting some things right. And I can't. Some of these things, it's on me. I take a lap on Hendy. I take a lap on Harvey. I take a lap on Woods this week. But some of these things are out of my control too. I can only tell you what the talent is. And yeah, I wish I could read some of these coaching decisions better. But in some cases, there's no way to understand them. like Vrabel may have a history of, in some cases, not liking rookies, but his usage of Hendy in the preseason was insanely positive. And then the fumbleitis situation should make any coach turn to a guy that's never fumbled the football through 4 college seasons, not one fumble. So I can't control that. I wish I could. I wish I was this decision maker. Just like Buka, I think Buka is going to be a top, elite wide receiver like he is right now, like he's doing right now, even impressing me. And there's a chance they didn't, what if the coaching staff decided not to use him fully the way they're using him now? Like, some of these things you can't control. What I do know, I need to take a lap for 50 laps on Chase Brown. You take a lap on Chase Brown. I'm going to take a lap on nothing on Chase Brown. Chase Brown's a victim of his situation, bro. Like, you go take a lap for speaking ill of Joe Burrow. 2 degrees of separation. All right, I gotta go, Travis, to get these super chats going. But Buka to the moon.
Yeah. Later,
Thanks,
Smitty.
I appreciate you. All right, so when we recap, here is the waiver wire for week number 6. So learn it, know about it, screenshot it. Appreciate you. Take a lap on Chase Brown. Come on, bro. Okay. Super chats, here we come. $20 haulers will get immediate attention. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate you. And then, where's this other one? There's another one in here. Super chat from Spencer. Spencer, appreciate your $20 hauler, my boy. Chef, dropping a 20 watt on screen. You guys get immediate attention. Rudy, appreciate your super chat. You get immediate attention, kind sir. And then I think that's all of the 20s as of right now. And then I'll get back to the other ones. Fields, Hampton, Walker, Javonte, Dunze. I could get Hurts, ETN, Scattaboo, Brown, or Marks from the owner. I'm going to be 3-2. Target, solid running back, full PPR. Diggs 1. I could get Hurts, ETN, Scattaboo. Okay. I do like Hurts over Fields, even though I do worry about some of Jalen Hurts, like staying healthy and just his throwing, but it's an upgrade. So would I sell Javonte high? I certainly would if I could get the world. I'm not selling him just to sell him. I think Javonte looks legit. He looks fantastic. But if you could buy, like, let's say ETN and Hurts for Javonte and Williams and Fields right now, it's not a horrible move, especially if you get him to throw in a Marks or something and just hold Marks. Would I trade Nico and trade him out for, I don't know. I don't know what I'd tell you on this team. Rachaad White to try and get into the Scattaboo business by giving up something else, maybe. Would I trade Sutton and Rachaad White for I don't know, bro. For the quarter, would I trade Rachaad White? Would I trade Rachaad White for the quarterback upgrade? Yes. Would I trade Sutton for the quarterback upgrade? Probably. That's kind of the only thing I can think of with that right now, at least. And Dunze's bye week free. Rice is almost back. London's bye week free. Not sure I want to trade any of that. You're kind of, coasting at this point. Would I trade Walker? Now you got Hampton injured. Would I trade? Probably keep Javonte if you can because Hampton being hurt. But would I trade Walker and Sutton for one player? Maybe. Does he have that player? Probably not. Would I trade Walker and Rachaad White for ETN before the game kicks off? Yeah. Would I trade Walker for Scattaboo? I mean, Walker did pretty good, but the problem with Walker is when he does pretty good, he's still not balling. And they're still giving Charbonnet touchdowns, and Walker's just a curious case, man. He's such a tough player to wrap your head around because even when he plays well, he's like, there's problems. Walker at 86 yards rushing, only 10 carries. He needed to be 8.6 yards per carry efficient, or that wouldn't have translated. Walker got one reception, 0 yards. So he got you 9.5 points. Whereas Charbonnet got you 2 PPR points, 3.5 rushing, so 5.5, 11.5. He outscored him. You know, so I would definitely think Scat is like, it's a little bit risky, but I think that's a move you could maybe make. Worthy in my wide receiver 2 slot, my entire bench has played. Have to drop someone to pick up someone. Drop Fields, who's my backup behind JD5, or Chase Brown, who is my, you're not dropping Chase Brown, so I'm stopping you right there. Winning at the moment, 145 to 137. Opponent is finished. Do I even bother? So if you're winning, and I mean, do you bother what? You talking about like trying to get another player in case Worthy doesn't play? I'm not sure what you're asking here. Have to drop someone to pick up someone. I guess if you got to pick up somebody regardless of this, I don't know what the context is here, but you're winning at the moment. Your opponent is finished. There's nothing to worry about. But if you're dropping somebody, I don't know if I like dropping my backup quarterback. I just don't. I'm certainly not dropping Chase Brown. So if you're picking up somebody like Dowdle or JCM, I probably would drop Fields for that, but I'd rather drop my kicker and then buy myself some time to make a trade. But if you're winning, it doesn't matter, right? And I think Worthy probably plays. He went on the plane, altitude, got his swelling in his ankle to kind of fester up. So I will have to see what happens tomorrow. But maybe we hit that tomorrow before the game if you needed to do something and I didn't understand it, or if you could follow up now on something if I didn't get it right. 1-4 somehow with the great roster, but wins aren't coming. Any moves to make? QB, Kyler, Jettas, Garrett Wilson, Olave, Rashee Rice coming back soon. Hang tight. Stay the course, bro. I know you said it was a must-win. Every win's a must-win. And there is even a world where you go 1-5 without Rice next week and you still win the championship. So just understand that it's certainly not the road you want to take, but just keep at it and don't fret. HN, monster. Breece Hall, as long as he's healthy, he'll be good as he was today. Waller's looking great. Tootin should gain value at some point. Mark should regain value at some point. I get Chase Brown's a letdown. Maybe you can trade Chase Brown and Olave, or Chase Brown and Rice for one player if you didn't want to wait on Rice. You could always go after Lamb using Rice and Chase Brown. You could always, Lamb and something. I'm trying to get something. You could always go after, using Chase Brown, you could go after a wide receiver. You could try Adams, bro. You could try, if you want to get into a Sutton or an MHJ over Chase Brown, that would work for me. If you could trade into a DK Metcalf, who's going to be bye week free now, I'm fine with that for Chase Brown. There are ways to give it to Chase Brown. Why? Because he's a running back. And why? Because people will say, maybe I can get something for him. Yo, Smitty, how are you doing your best ball? I'm first in about 15 so far and have an entry where I'm over 120 points, smashing it. PS Rico Dowdle, baby. I've been doing a lot of hires and smashing those. I do a lot of weekly stuff. Haven't drafted the last 2 weeks in the weeklies very much. The first 2 weeks, I believe, I was smashing, and I didn't win first or anything, but I'm usually gaining several hundred per week on that. But I haven't drafted the last couple of weeks. As far as the other best ball, I haven't really looked, bro. I haven't had time to glance at it. I did look at it today at one point on the weekly winners, and I was up and down. It just fluctuated. I haven't taken a gander at it now. After week number 1 or 2, I had I'm going to say it was 1,500 or 2,000. It says winning 2,500 or something like that. And then it dropped down. It's fluctuated. I haven't had a chance to look. But a lot of my teams have a lot of these guys that are going to be late bloomers. So I have a feeling a lot of my rosters will rebound as we go. But appreciate your $20 super chat. Man, what a just crazy week, up and down. A lot of my Boca teams are doing well. After Diggs' big game, now I need 12.5 from Kelsey. Good luck on that. Hopefully you get it. Do I pick up JCM or Warren Gainwell? I think I just covered that here, Trippy, through a whole show. But JCM, yes, JCM is the pickup. Do it live. Get him on roster. Appreciate you. Sean Patrick with a $100 holler from Sean. Everybody's pretty today. Everybody's pretty today.
$100+ holler. Smitty
Smitty. Everybody's pretty. 100%.
Sean the baller. Dropping the wad. Where is it? Hey, Smitty, traded away Kyron and Travis Hunter for Devontae Adams, Waddle. Have CD. I don't mind that. I like Devontae Adams a lot still. And I like Waddle, looked pretty good. Scored a touchdown. I'm fine with this. Kyron's a solid player, but I don't mind that. That definitely is a lot of value. Just makes me hesitate for a second as I digest trading away Kyron. By the way, we're 7 subscribers away from 37K. If you guys that are watching right now, we have over 940 YouTube people watching. We have I don't know how the rest of you are on X. But on this sign up on the board here, we'll move that to 37K if we just get the 7 subscribers that we need to hit 37K. So please subscribe right now if you're new to the channel. I appreciate you. Running backs are Achane and Woody and JCM. I mean, look, it's a little risky. You're kind of good at wide receiver, right? You got Rice and CD, but you're waiting on that. And I get it. You know, the shifting might make you do well. You're 1-3. I see why you did the move. Smitty approved the move. Hopefully you can start all 4 wide receivers upon their return, or you flip one of them for an RB or do a 2-for-1. Keep faith in Woody. Don't cut him. You don't necessarily need to start him yet unless we hear some more coach speak and we believe it. But Achane and JCM are pretty damn good running backs going forward. Smitty approved your trade, and I think your team's pretty good. And I don't think you can make another move really unless you were to move, let's say, JCM and let's call it Waddle for a JJ or, you know, a James Cook or something. I'd definitely do something like that if you can. But having that depth is nice, bro. Gibbs BTJ for Wilson Henry or Hall AJB for Henry Evans. Gibbs BTJ for Wilson Henry, no. Hall AJB for Henry Evans, no. I'm going to say no to both of those, bro. I just stand down. I'm not saying I don't make a move, but those are not the moves for me. 10-man PPR traded J.K. Dobbins and T-Mac for Gibbs. That's a home run. I'm probably going to get vetoed even if you don't have a veto process. Would you use top waiver wire priority on Golden? Nah, I mean, yeah, no. He's okay. I like him. I think Golden will get better, but I don't know that feels like not somebody that I'm racing to go do that. I'd almost wait. I called Mason Taylor's day 1 full load. Thank you, Mac. Appreciate you. Carter, Bashard Smith, Trey Benson, or Kendre Miller for a stash. I mean, according to the waiver board, and it could fluctuate based on the stash component, I suppose. But I'm going to go ahead and say that Bashard Smith is the guy for me, and I rank him the highest. But Bashard Smith for me all the way. And that might change after the game, though. You know, Kendre Miller is also kind of nice. I get why you might want to, you know, snag Kendre, but K9 and ETN for Achane and JMO. I would take Achane and JMO. How much fab on Diggs full load drop? At this point, you know, what are you going to get next week? You know, I need 17 BTJ or ETN, probably ETN. I mean, I don't know how you don't trust ETN at this point. Got Waddle from Mason last week. Nice job. If ETN hasn't earned your trust at this point, I don't know what he can do to earn it. If I drop one guy, pick up Thornton or Hollywood. Probably Thornton. He seems like the big play guy for Mahomes. If I had to pick one. How is that Ramondre and Gibson have combined for 5 fumbles in the last 3 games, and Hendy is still clearly the third option? Because Vrabel doesn't know what he's doing. I don't care that they won the game. They won the game. They would have won the game without struggle had they just started the right players. Burrow 2 and 3. Murray, Bucky, Harvey, Benson, Rashad White, Sharps, Tootin, Amari DeMarcado, St. Brown, London, Pearsall, JMO, Hawkinson. Need help at running back. Any suggestions? With Bucky out, it's tough, bro. Benson, Bucky, damn, you got hit hard. At least you got Rashad White. I mean, you're kind of like good right now with like Sharps and White, just to cover your bases for right now. But if I was to make a trade, be careful trading London because he's bye-week free now. It's a huge advantage. I think it'll probably be through Kittle, even though Kittle is coming back, soon. I don't know. Maybe you just explore a Kittle trade. Like maybe you're trading Kittle for, let me see what running backs. I mean, honestly, I'd still take a gamble on Henry for Kittle. Maybe you can even get something with that. I'd still look at that just because Henry's a risk, no doubt about it, but he's a very low-risk player. I think if you got a package for Kittle that ranged in like the Scatterboo and J-Mo or Scatterboo and Ladd McConkey scored. He almost scored another time. Ladd looked really good in this game. Ladd looked really good. Ladd looked back in some ways. I think Ladd's a good throw-in, especially if you do Kittle for like a near equal player and you get Ladd thrown in. That could work. But I think of the running backs that I want you to trade for, Breece Hall, some people are worried about him. Jacobs before he, I would say you could trade for an injured Hampton. That doesn't help you now, but I don't know. I'm very eager to try. I mean, you're taking a risk. What if Hampton misses a game? What if he misses 2 games? He's in a walking boot after the game. I don't know. I think he's a good buy low now, though. Judkins had a good game. Probably be hard to get him. Genty, you could maybe trade for, but at what cost? Can you trade St. Brown for a Genty and a receiver? I'd consider that. Would I trade Bucky injured? Maybe. Depends on what you could get. If you could get a Breece Hall and a Ladd, I'd probably do that. Those are just some suggestions, my boy. Appreciate you. Scott, thank you for the super chat. Scott says, caught your halftime video when I switched off the game after Mondre scored twice. Needed that. I have Hendy against Mondre today. Now I might lose. I want to break my TV when I watch Vrabel. Look, I can't stand so much about the guy. I really can't. It's insane, man. It's insane. I appreciate your super chat. Need help bad. 1-4, 10-man PPR. Bo Nix, Sutton, MHJ, Achan, Hampton, Ertz, Scat Pack, bench. Okay, Addison, CD on IR. I had just traded for Hampton and MHJ. Wait on CD or trade him. I mean, at 1-4 with now Hampton injured, I'd contemplate trading him. Maybe you could trade CD for like a Hall and a very good wide receiver that's undervalued right now. Maybe you could trade for Henry and a very solid wide receiver still. You need to get a wide receiver if you're trading St. Brown. It would need to be, or Lamb, I'm sorry. If it's Lamb, it'd need to be someone like, you could go after London because he's bye-week free and then get something small added in. Or you could go after an Adunze and then a little bit better running back, but it would still be a smaller name that you just believe in. Or you go after a Ladd McConkey and get a bigger name running back like Derrick Henry or Breece Hall or something like that. Definitely doable for Lamb. If not, you could trade Hampton injured, but you better get something really solid. You better get something along the lines of like a Scatterboo and a J-Mo for Hampton, or better than that. And even that's like risky. It's risky to keep Hampton and then he's out 2-3 weeks. And it's risky to not trade for him because what if he doesn't sit a game at all? Or risky to trade him, or anybody out there not trading for him. We don't really have any information, and we need more information before we can really make calls. Trade Michael Carter and DeMarcado for Kraft and Caleb Johnson. I could get behind either side, or should I hold? I need a tight end. I'm fine with that. If you don't really need those running backs, it's a confusing situation anyway. Have Strange left, and that's it. Do I drop him for Brashard Smith or Tootin before the game? I probably would Brashard Smith in case they use him. Tootin, I don't know. I guess same thing you could say about Tootin. I want both of them. But if you can only grab one of them, I suppose. Chad, are you going Brashard or Tootin? Tootin or Brashard? Burchard or Tootin? Which one? Please vote for Curry on that one. Curry, look at the chat. Burchard Smith, Trey Benson, or Kendra Miller for the stash. I think I answered that one already. Is Burchard Smith. Waiver list is good, but what about Taysom Hill? We added him. He's on there. He's not a quarterback, but he's a tight end eligible player, and he could play quarterback, so it's a league winner. Ertz and Marks sold me 1 and 4, 10-man started. Fields, Achane, Genty, Woody. Started Woody over BTJ. Bench is Herbo. Look, guys, Woody, I know everyone wants to say Woody's trash, Woody this, Woody that. Woody wasn't given a shot. It's not Woody's fault. It sucks. I wish I would have known that the coach was lying to us. I wish we knew D'Amico was not telling us the truth, because he said, I can't wait to give him more carries. Well, that didn't seem to be the case. But on paper, Woody Marks was one of the better starts you could come across, because he had just scored 2 touchdowns. He had 17 carries. He had 4 or 5 receptions, I believe. And essentially with 20-plus touches, his coach was raving about wanting to feed him more the next week. What can you do? What can you do but start the guy? And we can't control that. And so you can't beat yourself up over it, Ricky. I feel bad. I'll take a lap for you. But you can't beat yourself up or second guess this all night, because Woody was a fantastic start on paper. He was. Doesn't matter what anybody says now. Everyone can Monday morning quarterback. Oh, you should have. No. Bench is Herbert, Jacobs, London, Rice, Bowers. Still hope. Yeah, but I mean, bro, Jacobs is a fine running. You're really fine, bro. You still got a great team. You still got a really, really good team. And you could trade Jacobs if you wanted. You could trade. Buka's balling out, bro. Pickens is still a good player. I would probably look to maybe, once you get London back, and that's a good team. Rice coming back. Ricky, don't freak out. Stand down before you make like a crazy trade, and let's really think it out, because your team's really, really good. You got a lot to look forward to. Even if you were 1 and 5. I'm not saying you want to be that. I'm just saying, even if you were, I believe your team could win. What about Kendre or Benson for the stash? I mean, Kendre's got more now value, which is tradable. And who knows what's in store for Benson when he returns, bro. At this point, would you rather have Burchard Smith or Harvey? I'd rather have Harvey for the long-term. Burchard Smith if I'm needing a little bit more of a short-term answer with the long-term upside that's still there. But Harvey, I still think at some point will have a day. I just can't guarantee when. It could be week 10. It could be like Bucky. Bucky didn't do anything till week 10. He didn't start until week 13. I know everyone they want everything now, and I want it now too. But 0.5 PPR need a running back and a quarterback upgrade. Who would you trade for my wide receivers? JSN, Igbuka, CD, Rome, and Bowers. I don't know. Those receivers are fantastic, Mo, though. I would probably say if you trade away, can't trade Igbuka in my opinion, unless you're getting the world, bro. You're getting like a Genty and a JSN type. It's the only way I'm trading Buka. So I don't think I'm trading him. And then JSN, he's balling out. CD's coming back. You've done all the waiting on that. Rome's going to be bye week free. Bowers will be fine at some point. I guess if you're going after a running back, you see what JSN could get you. I don't want to trade the other guys. So if you could get a Genty and a Garrett Wilson, if you could get a Genty and an Adams, you'd have to be getting 2 significant players that you could actually argue could both individually hang in the trade. Like Genty could hang in the JSN. You trade JSN for Genty and Adams, Genty could hang with them. And if you have Genty or whatever, just understand what I'm saying. And then Adams is in that trade too. JSN for Genty and Adams, let's say. And Adams could hang in that trade. That's how you know you make a good trade. Should I trade Mason and Carter for Breece? I would take Breece Hall. This is a points per carry league. I would probably take Breece Hall, but chat, vote on that if you think you'd rather have Mason on that side of that trade. And the points per carry league, that's tough. I mean, Breece is a risk, but so is not trading for him. You know, there's risk involved everywhere. Any moves, Hurts, Achane, Chase Brown, JSN, Jettas. Love the team. I mean, for the most part, I love Hurts. I don't love Hurts long term, but I mean, he's scoring. It's a good quarterback. Would I trade out of him? Sure, but you have good QB scoring. You have good running back scoring. You have Jettas and JSN. Of course, I'm disappointed in Chase Brown right now. What can you get for him? You know, is he tradable? Probably not. Maybe you could trade Hurts into Mahomes right now before the game starts. Maybe someone looks at Hurts and says, "Damn, I still value this guy." Maybe you could get Mahomes and a player instead of Chase Brown that you like better than Chase Brown. Maybe you could trade JSN on the high and get a running back like Genty instead of Chase Brown and still not swap out JSN for that much lower of a player. So go to like the Adams owner, go to the Garrett Wilson owner, go to the London owner, see if you can get that bye week that London's already served for JSN. Jettas for London, who's had the bye week, and get an additional player or an upgrade of Chase Brown. So I would go to the Garrett Wilson owner, I'd go to the London owner, I'd go to the Adams owner and see what running back they can upgrade you into from Chase Brown. Amos, I still believe in Travis Hunter. Cohen and the Jags are still ironing out. I reference Bucky Irving week number 10. I reference JCM, who everybody wanted to give up on after 4 weeks of football, and he does well in week 5. So, what's your take on the Travis Hunter saga? I think, Angus, I think he's still a really good player that is being mistreated, misused, and honestly, it's the Jaguars that are having problems, not him, with incorporating him into so much. It's on them, but it doesn't matter because his situation is volatile right now. So I think it gets ironed out. Like you said, it might take some weeks, though. It might not be next week, this week. It could take some time. But I still start him in, situations where I'm like looking for waiver wire fodder. No, I'll still start him there. Fields, Hampton, Javonte, Rashad White, full PPR. Sutton for Scat and ETN. I would take Scat and ETN and run. That's not even a question. That's an easy call. Trade CMC for a wide receiver and a solid running back. And who do I trade AJB for? I would trade CMC if you're getting 2 pots of gold and only 2 pots of gold. That's the whole formula we said all along. If you go get a player like Genty or like, let's call it, God, there's so many injuries. Like James Cook, like Judkins, and then you get an additional JSN type player, Nico Collins type player, or you don't trade Christian McCaffrey. That's what McCaffrey can get you right now. But you have to stand strong and get the Judkins and the wide receiver, not just one. A Kyron or an Achane and a wide receiver work too. Like if you got Adams and Achane, it could be worth it. AJB, I'm going to get Adams. I'm going to get, let's call it, I mean, you could trade AJB for Scattaboo. Wide receivers, Devontae Adams, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Lad McConkey, and a player. Like, let's say you could get Scat and Lad for AJB. Maybe you can't. Maybe you can only get Scat. Maybe you could get Scat and Addison. Maybe you could get a combo like that, Dub. I'm up by 8 points. Opponent has ETN. I have Worthy. I think you could win that. It's very close, Angus. And then let's see this one here. You've got, here they go, Smitty, 5-0, Hurts, Puka, JJ, Bijan, Judkins, ETN, JK, Ferguson, Ao Manor. Go, nice job, bro. 5-0 is fantastic. Any moves? I think because you're balling, bro, you probably keep the band together, especially with Bijan having the bye week now out of the way. I mean, you could trade JK on the high, JK, and let's say, geez, man, I don't know. JK for like a go get Josh Allen right now. Josh Allen's a great buy low. Hurts and JK for Josh Allen. Go trade. Honestly, I would trade for Bowers. I know Fergie's been balling out, but I still think Bowers is going to be fantastic after he sits out. Not liking the Eagles' offense, trade Saquon. I mean, yeah, if you can trade him for enough, you're also going to want him because of his name, brand name. You can maybe try and get like 2 players. And if you can't, you want to go make sure you're getting like an Achan, you're getting a JSN at least, you're getting a Nico Collins, JJ, like someone like that, because that's the value Barkley still has. And if you can't get that, you need to go get a Garrett Wilson and a player. You need to get a JMO and a player better than like Scattaboo. You need something higher than that. Woody gave me no Woody today. Do I drop him for JCM? Yes, but and this is, we talked about this all week, that when people would say, should I cut JCM for Woody? The answer was always, you need both of them. You need to figure it out, because JCM doesn't belong on waivers. Woody still doesn't belong on waivers. So my answer is going to be the same to you here. I'd rather have JCM, but you shouldn't cut Woody. I'd cut my kicker before I make that decision. Buy myself some time to make a trade, because Woody could still be a league winner. I'm not saying he is right at this second in time. 14-team league PPR will be 3-2. JD5, BTJ, Buka, Gibbs, Hendy, Kraft, Dobbs, Rice. I need a running back 2 if Hendy is getting Vrabeled. What can I do in a trade? I would say, God, it's so depressing the way Vrabel looks at this situation, man. You probably wait to see what BTJ can get you after the game. Past that, man, I mean, I'm trying to use Kraft and Gainwell to get like a scat. I'm trying to use Kraft and Gainwell to get a running back. Maybe Gainwell's that running back. Hard to say. I'm trying to use Kraft, and maybe Brashard Smith gains some value for you and you don't even need to trade, or you can trade Brashard Smith or Gainwell with Kraft to go get a running back like Mason, Scattaboo. I mean, Chase Brown for you wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world, bro. Kraft for Chase Brown. People are getting rid of Chase Brown. They want to wash their hands of him. And I'm not saying he's a guarantee to bounce back on any level, but maybe using Kraft, it makes sense. If you're needing an RB, if you want an RB, JCM, I'd take JCM over Kraft. I don't know that you can even get that right now. So Kraft for JCM, Kraft for Scattaboo, Kraft for Monty, Kraft for Mason, Kraft for Charbonnet. Take a gamble on Charbonnet, who's very, very solid. What a week, man. What a crazy week. I mean, it was just such a wild week. Buka to the mother freaking moon. Buka wide receiver 3 or 4, depending on your format. JCM. I mean, there was some good that happened. There was some good that happened this week. There was some bad. We've got to adjust and adapt to what is in front of us. Hope to God that JCM doesn't get benched next week because of reasons we can't even fathom. I mean, we just don't. We're just at the mercy of this ridiculous coaching. In trade talks for JSN, this is my roster: Kyron, Genty, Judkins, Marks, Harvey, Jamar Chase, Nico, Buka, AJ Brown. Is this a good move for me? So what's the trade? Trade talks for JSN. This is my roster. AJ Brown. Okay. This is a good move for me. I don't know what the move is. Okay. But if we were to say like AJ Brown and, I mean, what are you going to trade though? If you're going after JSN, you almost have to give like Kyron or Genty. I probably wouldn't trade Judkins. Probably wouldn't trade Jamar Chase, even though I think JSN, I mean, I would want more. Just because Chase just went out and had a 2-touchdown game. I think you can command more, and if not, but I don't even know if you can do. Oh, wait, hold on a second. My roster is running backs, wide receivers, A.J. Brown. Okay. So you got Buka, Nico, A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase. You don't need JSN. I don't think you need JSN, bro. Your team doesn't need it. I'd trade A.J. Brown and Kyron or A.J. Brown and Genty for a Gibbs or Bijan. Or, some sort of massive upgrade. But that's it. I don't think I'm trading. AJB, you could trade for... You could take a shot on Henry. AJB for a Dunze who's had the bye week. AJB and... Yeah, there's not much to trade AJB for, bro. Rice. That person can't wait any longer. Give him AJB for Rice. That's what I'd do. This is just, I just can't believe Variable. I'm still just fuming over it. I really am. I just can't believe you would not use Hendy. You drafted him for a reason. Why'd you draft him? Guy's done nothing to disappoint you. 4-1, let's go. Nix, Genty, Chase Brown, Rashad White, Benson, Hendy, Marks, Igbuka, nice job. Garrett Wilson, nice job. Sutton, Tyler Warren, trade advice. Honestly, Rashad White or Chase Brown with Sutton for one big monster, bro. JJ, Chase Brown, Rashad White. Take a gamble on Hendy or Harvey. Sorry, not Hendy or Harvey. Henry. Take a gamble on Henry. Take a gamble on Breece Hall. Chase Brown for Bucky. Dude, Chase Brown for Bucky might work because this owner is probably like, I can't wait 2-3 weeks. And honestly, you might not use Chase Brown anyway. Rashi Rice. Scotty Do. Go do your thing, pal. Megas, appreciate your super chat. Thank you very much. Simon, appreciate your super chat. Thank you very much. Anxious, sorry, non-ball related. What food tonight, Smitty? I had tacos, Angus. 12-man PPR 3-2. Allen, Kyron, White Rico, Jamar, Garrett Wilson, Tet, Shakir, Warren, moves to make. Honestly, I'd contemplate trading Rico high. Rico and White, Rico and Tet, trying to get that running back upgrade somewhere, trying to get a Devontae Adams using Tet, trying to get a Garrett Wilson using Tet, trying to get JSN using Tet, trying to get Rice, trying to get Lamb. Also like Rico, though. I mean, Rico's good. You don't need to trade him. Maybe Rashad White and Tet to get a slight wide receiver upgrade, or Rashad White and Tet to get a slight running back upgrade. Simon? Smitty, need a pick me up after I got smashed by a team with CMC and Debo and JT. My team is Lamar, ETN, JCM, Hendy, DeMarcado, Neighbors. Well, you've been hit hard. I mean, losing CD and Neighbors is just not fair. Frustrated with the Hendy usage, as am I, bro. Keep the faith. I don't know that I'm moving much on this team. You can't really. You got to wait for CD and you got hit with Neighbors. It's impossible to recover from. Wilson's fantastic. Your team should come around. You're waiting on Lamar. You got hit with everything, bro. None of that's your fault. JCM and ETN and Lamar, Sharps. I'm probably standing down right now. Unless you could trade CD for, you might contemplate Rice and something because you'll wait one less week and you could get maybe something in addition. Maybe you get an upgrade somewhere. Go to the Walker owner, see if you can upgrade or give him Sharps and upgrade something in order to do that. Go So you're getting something else with Charbonnet and you're upgrading Lamb. And if not, go to the Walker owner, see if they want Charbs. It's crazy, bro. Vrabel pisses me off. I mean, I'm just irate. 5-0, 14-man league, $1K league. Nice job, Flex. Darnold stepped up for you big time in Lamar's absence. Barkley, Bucky, Pickens. Sorry about Bucky. Debo, Keenan Allen, Kelsey, Woodmaster, Hendy. Any league-winning moves? Bro, there's not much to trade here unless you move Barkley. But what are you going to move Barkley for? Hall and something? Like, if I can't get Hall and something, I'm not really moving him. I'd probably say you're waiting on Bucky unless you can trade Bucky straight across for a running back. I mean, we got to go lower than Bucky, but somebody that's playing, I don't know, man. I mean, that to be like Henry, and then you're taking a gamble. I mean, you're taking a gamble, but can you wait on Bucky? You can, because you're 5-0. So I think with your team, I'm not panicking. Barkley, would I trade Barkley for like a Judkins and something? I think I'd explore that. I would say Hampton, but he's injured. So explore that. Explore Judkins for Barkley and what could you get added to it, because you certainly want to get something. If you can't, I don't know. It's chat. Would you rather have Judkins over Barkley? 5-0. Baker, Bijan, Bucky, White, Carter, Smith, Igbuka, Sutton, Tet. Feeling good. Should I stay put or look to move? Thank you for the $20 hauler, by the way. I'm sorry I didn't hit this button for it.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Bijan's now bye week free. You're 5-0. You can wait on Bucky versus freak out. Plus you got Rashad White. Igbuka's fantastic. Sutton, Tet, Golden's quite a squad, bro. Quite a squad. Love the team. Probably gonna say right now I hang tight unless I could trade Tet and Sutton for one wide receiver, or Tet and let's say Bucky to get out of the waiting game and you're slightly upgrading. You know, and you could always do a Bucky Barkley swap if you wanted, but it's got its pros and cons, and you're 5-0. But there's an avenue there to go get Barkley on the cheap using Bucky. Maybe you could potentially trade. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, maybe you trade McBride out and you go get you got Tyler Warren. Yeah, so you got Tyler Warren and McBride. That's your ticket, bro. Trade one of those tight ends, whichever one gets you the most, to go get a Pet upgrade, a Sutton upgrade to get into that JJ, that JSN, that type of value wide receiver using. Like if you could trade McBride for JSN and you give up maybe a Tet for something else smaller that you just like that you get thrown in, I'd do that. That's your meal ticket, TS. Trade away one of your tight ends. That's the only move. Only move, bro. My CMC for Judkins and Rice. You're 4-1. Chat, vote on that. I would take Judkins and Rice over Christian McCaffrey. Because once Rice comes back, you could argue Rice is nearly as good. And then if let's say Rice went down, you could argue Judkins could still hold his weight. Maybe you'd rather have CMC for as long as CMC played, but that's a fantastic trade. You could always wait a week, but I probably wouldn't, because then Rice is back. And then all of a sudden the person doesn't want to trade that. I'd take Judkins and Rice for CMC. Guys, I'm out of here. I got to try and create a video for the morning. I'm also exhausted for the 4 live streams that I've done today, including the rant one. I will see you all in the morning. Appreciate all your super chats. Appreciate your gifted memberships. Appreciate the $20 haulers from Rudy and from Jay. The $19 haulers from Spencer. Or 20. These are 20 as well. $19.99 from Spencer, Chef, and Jay. We had a $100 hauler, I believe, from, who was that? Sean. Sean, appreciate you with the $100 hauler. Thank you all very much. Celebratory messages. We had none, I believe. I'm out of here. Don't forget, we have a live chat Patreon that is 24/7, 365. Smash the Patreon link right here. Do it live. This is my 365. First of all, let me drop the underdog link first. Here's the underdog link. We'll be drafting this week. Play $5, get 100 using code Smitty, which the link inserts for you in the code. You just use Smitty. If you download the app manually, just enter code Smitty when it asks you how you found out about it. But using the link will insert the code Smitty for you. That link is in the description of the video. That's my underdog link. This is the Patreon link. This is in the description of all videos as well. So smash this link right there. Boom. Join the Patreon. I'm going to go over to the Patreon. I'll be chatting live with all my people over there. Appreciate every single one of you. Let's get after week 6. Time to adjust and adapt accordingly. Buka to the moon. JCM to the moon. JSN to the moon. We did not get to 37K. We're waiting on 4 more people. If you guys can subscribe, hit that subscribe button. If we can get 4 of you, there's 800 of you on YouTube right now, and I can guarantee you at least 50 to 100 is the usual number, at least, that are not yet subscribers. If you smash subscribe, I'll come back on screen and we'll change the sign out live on the show. But we need 4 more subscribes. Oh, wait a second. Appreciate everybody. All right. Hit that subscribe button though, even if I do close out right now. Appreciate you all.